All right, we are ready to go. Like I said, Sione God, thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I'm just going to open us up in a prayer, and then we're going to get to know our esteemed guests here today. So if you'll just join me really quick, we're going to open this up in a good way. We come to you in prayer. We give thanks for this day, give thanks for our blessings, give you thanks for the opportunity to come together, to fellowship, to help each other out, and to network, Creator. Pray that you please be with those who are hurting today, who are facing adversity, who are facing trouble. Just please put your hand over them and guide them, give them strength, and give them comfort, Creator. Once again, we just thank you for this opportunity, for this great day on the Cherokee Nation and all across the country to come together as Cherokee people and to help one another. Amen. All right. So without further ado, like I said, we'll just go ahead and turn it over to our presenters here. Shelby, if you want to get started first, can you just give us an introduction?
Absolutely. Osio God Meli Dawadoma, Tosco Yawadetiad, Awi Uniasti, Oklahoma Digai, Digai Yaligai, Jeff Ale Lisa Trice Turtle, Jigeha, Ale Maribel Gore Jiga Hai. Tali Ichidetiad Nidiga Delaquasco, Juyafla Kalaga Edif, Wagala Landia Junide la Quadi, Na Tali Ichida Legi, Degade la Quai, Political Science, Ale Criminal Justice. Hello, everyone. My name is Shelby Turtle, and I'm the 2021-2022 Miss Cherokee. I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Park Hill, Oklahoma. I'm the daughter of Jeff and Lisa Trice Turtle. I'm a sophomore at Northeastern State University, where I'm a double major in political science and criminal justice. After completing my undergraduate studies, I hope to pursue a law degree. At Northeastern State, I'm a member of the Honors Program, the Native American Student Association, and the Northeastern Student Government Association, where I serve as student body vice president. I'm also a member of the Oklahoma Federation of Indian Women, and I just finished my 6th term on the Cherokee Nation Tribal Youth Council. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me and allowing me to spend your Friday afternoon with you all, and I look forward to our conversation today.
Wado, Shelby. Thank you for that great introduction. That is a lot that you are doing. That is something to be proud of. So I wish I had a 10th of your energy, because you are out there, you are doing it. So thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate that. Leah, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Of course. Sioniga the Gweg Dawado, Skigadu Yawadetiad, Sohneline Dejinido, Amohi Janelle. Hi everyone, my name is Leah Gardner. I am 15 years old. I am a freshman at Salina High School, and I'm from Salina, Oklahoma, and I am your 2021-2022 Junior Miss Cherokee. Thank you for inviting me. Wadum.
Wado, Leah, we really appreciate that. Thank you for that introduction. You know, both of you guys are just so well-spoken, and, you know, I'm really happy, you know, to see you guys in this position. I believe that you guys are outstanding representatives for our people, and I'm excited for the rest of our tribe to get a chance to know you guys. So, but like I said, that's a lot that you guys are taking on. So, you know, we're definitely going to keep you guys lifted up in prayer throughout this year. We definitely support you in all of your endeavors, and we appreciate all the work, you know, besides your school work, the work that you guys are going to be out doing in the community, taking on these healthy risks. You know, that's a big deal. You know, I know that when I was young, it was hard to step out, you know, and take that healthy risk and go out for the team or pursue some of these really big positions. And you guys are doing that. And I believe it's a testament to the strength of our people. You know, you really see people in our tribe who've done these great, amazing things and continue to do that. And it really just shows me, you know, what great hope we have for the future with women like you who are going to be our leaders in the future. And so it's just really inspiring. Thank you so much for those outstanding introductions. I really appreciate it. So today we're going to do kind of a Q&A format. I have some questions that I'm going to ask you guys, and So we'll just go ahead and get started off here real quick. So Shelby, if you want to go first, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe, what do you like to do for fun?
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned in my introduction, I'm a sophomore in college right now. I am a double major in criminal justice and political science. And so my courses certainly keep me busy, especially as we're approaching final season. But I truly love my majors and love learning about them. And so I would kind of count that as a little bit fun, moving towards my future career goals. My student organizations, I absolutely enjoy every single one of them. They definitely keep me busy and keep me on my toes, but they're great leadership experiences and just allow me to get really involved with the NSU community. And so I absolutely enjoy going to all the events and the meetings that we have almost every week. And so that's a lot of fun. But outside of college, I definitely stay busy with that. But I love photography. That's just kind of like a hobby of mine. I love to take pictures. I love to travel and take photos. Obviously, not doing much of that right now due to current circumstances, but it's definitely something that I have a passion for and that I enjoy. And I also have two dogs. I have two German Shepherds. Their names are Remy and Trigger, and they definitely keep me busy. I love playing with them. They are just loads of fun. And so right now, that's mainly what I do for fun. Also love to spend time with my family and my friends as much as I can. We definitely are all busy, especially in this time of the year right now. And so just finding ways to have good fellowship and conversations with them is really important to me. And I would say that pretty much sums up what I do for fun on a weekly basis. But yeah.
That's great. Those are two really beneficial ways to practice self-care, I believe. Walking your dogs, enjoying that time, and also taking pictures. That's something that I've started to do recently as part of my gratitude exercise. Every day I try to do a gratitude exercise. And so one of them is just taking a picture of something every day I'm grateful for. So that's really awesome. I'm really happy that you are able to have those hobbies, in between all of your, really busy schedule. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much, Shelby, for sharing that. Leah, how about you? Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and maybe something you like to do for fun?
Yeah, I play softball and cheer. So our softball season ended about a week ago or a week or two ago. So it was just full every Friday night cheering all the football games. And that keeps me pretty busy. That's really fun. But when I'm not cheering, I love to play guitar. That's what I mostly do for fun. Love doing anything outdoors. Youth season was a couple weekend ago. So I go hunting with my dad. Yeah, really just anything outdoors. Yeah.
That is awesome. What position did you play in softball?
I was a catcher, but then my shoulder kind of started acting up, so I switched with my first baseman on and off.
Awesome. Catcher is a hard position.
Yeah.
On our youth softball team, that's the one position nobody wanted to play. So I definitely kudos to you for taking that on. That's really awesome. Cool. I'm glad that you got to get out and hunt a little bit too. Was it kind of cold out there when you guys were out walking around?
No, we didn't really have any cold mornings, but it wasn't bad. It was cool in the morning and it started warming up pretty quick.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing about that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the next thing I was wondering about is who inspires you, Shelby? Either past or present. Do you have, maybe somebody who or somebody who you looked up to who kind of gave you inspiration?
Yeah, absolutely. So without a doubt, the person that inspires me the most is certainly my mom. She has been my biggest cheerleader and my biggest fan throughout my entire life. And she is also a former Miss Cherokee. And so I grew up getting to hear about her experiences and how much that her leadership roles have impacted her. And just outside of that, also, she took this step and enrolled me in the Cherokee Immersion School when I was little. And I fully
Awesome.
give credit to that experience
Mhm.
for setting me up on the path that I'm currently following. And so she continues to support me. I give her credit for everything that I am and everything that I do. And without a doubt, she is the biggest inspiration for me. And I could not say that enough to anybody who
Mhm.
asks. But I really love that question. So thank you for asking.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you have that amazing role model in your life, and especially as, strong Cherokee women, we have a very detailed history of, women in leadership positions within our tribe. And so it's really awesome that your mother and now you are continuing to carry on that legacy. So that's really important. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate that. Leah, how about you? Is there somebody in your life, whether past or present, that really provides a source of inspiration for you?
Yeah, it is definitely my grandma. She was the best role model I could have ever asked for.
That's
She
awesome.
was a fluent Cherokee speaker, and she really just she was so she really wanted our me and my cousins to learn Cherokee and to get involved into knowing our culture and stuff. And she's really what inspired me to do this.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear how she inspired you to take on that language, for you and Shelby both. Until recently, it wasn't the cool thing to do or the popular thing to do. Of course, kids these days in modern society, there's so much else to do. And so for you guys to take on that, to learn the language, I think is really awesome. And you're going to serve as role models for other children, because I see it every day. You have a kid and you're like, hey, do you want to go with all of your friends to school, or do you want to go to immersion and take on this, really big task and, do all of this work and everything like that? And so for them to have you guys as role models who've already taken that on and who can show, what, this is just really amazing and it's really fun, and everything else. So that's really awesome. I'm really happy. I'm glad that you guys both share that, and I'm glad that you both role model that every day. That is really something, because it gives Cherokee kids also something to be proud of when they hear their language spoken. And of course, we hear it a lot with elders, but for them to hear people their own age speak the language, I think it really will motivate them to take that up in the future. So that's really awesome. Thank you both so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So next, I was just wondering, Shelby, could you tell me a little bit about what motivated you to run for this position?
Absolutely. So as a young Cherokee girl, I grew up seeing Miss Cherokees all around me at events and at community, just different types of things like that.
Mhm.
And just seeing what the responsibilities of Miss Cherokee is and what that role is. Miss Cherokee, whoever was holding the crown, was always somebody that I looked up to. Just the essence of who a Miss Cherokee and what a Miss Cherokee is.
Mhm.
And so growing up, I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to run for Miss Cherokee. And after serving as junior Miss Cherokee, I kind of got a little taste of exactly the role of Miss Cherokee. It's kind of, like a stepping stone in a sense. And so I was really able to not only develop and grow my personal leadership skills and experiences, but it really allowed me to serve as a goodwill ambassador for
Mhm.
Cherokee Nation and promote the government, the history, and the language and the culture, and just seeing how that impacts the lives of elders and young adults and the littlest Cherokees. There's not a better position that I could think of to serve in that capacity. And
Mhm.
so once I graduated high school, Miss Cherokee was definitely something that I wanted to do. And I've been grateful to be surrounded by Miss Cherokees in the past that have served as my role models and have served as people that I can always look up to and I can always ask questions. And that to me has been so important. And so, as Miss Cherokee or running for Miss Cherokee, that's exactly why I wanted to do it, was to be that same type of person for other young Cherokees that are growing up. And just as you said, just serving as an example of speaking the language and participating in the culture and history. That's so important to not only inspire our elders and our adults, but obviously our younger Cherokees, so that way they continue to carry on the Cherokee culture and the language for years and years to come. And I think Miss Cherokee is a very unique role that gets to participate and help that. And it's truly an experience like no other. And I'm very, very grateful.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, your motivations are all really awesome and really amazing. And I, you know, probably, I don't think any of us get the amount of work also that probably goes into the position. You know, you think about, oh, it looks really fun. Yeah, and I'm sure it is. But yeah, I can imagine that there's a great amount of work also that goes into that. So thank you so much, Shelby, for sharing that. Leah, could you share just a little bit about, you know, what your motivation was for seeking the position?
Yeah, I served as a little ambassador 2017, 2018. And just like Shelby said, you see these Miss Cherokees and these junior Miss Cherokees and these other girls serving their tribes. And it really just makes you feel comfortable in what you're doing, and it makes you want to do more.
Awesome.
And I loved my Miss Cherokee. She was like a big sister to me. And I knew that one day I wanted to work my way up to hopefully being Miss Cherokee. And I knew I wanted to run for junior Miss Cherokee when my term ended. I fell in love with all the events. I fell in love with seeing and meeting new people and getting to promote our culture and just represent Cherokee Nation. It's something that feels really cool, especially as a kid, because I was like 11 whenever I was an ambassador. So it's a really prideful thing. And yeah, it just makes you feel proud about what you're doing in your culture.
That is great. Yeah, you definitely should feel proud for taking on that position, because it's a lot of work, I imagine. And, you know, you guys are both really outstanding representatives for our tribe, not just for Cherokee people, but I imagine you guys field a lot of questions from non-Cherokees as well. You know, a lot of people don't know a lot about Cherokee people, you know, and I feel like we're misrepresented a lot, you know, maybe in the media and things like that. So having both of you out there as our representatives, as our ambassadors, you know, makes us look really good, you know, because you guys are just, you know, like I said, you really are motivated and you're really passionate about your people. And I think, you know, that's a great motivation that you guys have. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So this one is a little bit off the topic of Miss Cherokee, but I was wondering if you could both share what's your favorite food, Shelby, whenever you aren't running around all crazy from meeting to meeting, you know, what's your favorite food?
Absolutely. So my favorite food is simply just grilled chicken with vegetables. Kind of very simple, but it's something that is always my go-to wherever I am. And it's just my favorite meal. If I had to pick something a little more traditional Cherokee, it's simply just strawberries. I love strawberries. They are my favorite fruit. I could probably eat them every day if I could. But yeah, just those two are my favorite foods, and I could literally eat them whenever. So
that's awesome. You know, and it's really cool that your favorite foods, they happen to be really healthy, you know, so that's really cool. I remember picking strawberries when I was young, and I actually ended up eating so many I couldn't eat strawberries there for a while. So I still have to take it a little easy on that. So thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate it. Leah, how about you? Do you have a favorite food that you like to eat that just kind of makes you feel good, that comfort food?
Yeah, if I'm out, okay, a lot of people don't like it, but I like sushi. If I'm out, I really like sushi. But if my favorite, like home cooked, I guess more traditional meal is definitely not as healthy as strawberries, but it's wild onions and fried potatoes.
Oh, nice.
That's my favorite.
Man, okay, that's making me hungry now. So it's a good thing that lunch is coming right after this. You know, I love wild onions and potatoes, but thank you guys so much for sharing about that. I really appreciate that. So the next question we have, Shelby, is what is the role and responsibility of being Miss Cherokee?
Absolutely. So the role of Miss Cherokee is simply to serve as a goodwill ambassador on behalf of the Cherokee Nation. Miss Cherokee works to promote the government, the history, the language, and culture of the Cherokee Nation. She serves as a role model for any and all Cherokees, but especially as a Cherokee woman. Just as you said, the Cherokees have a long history
Mhm.
of the importance of women within our culture. And so Miss Cherokee exhibits those qualities. And the responsibilities vary between year and year, but essentially Miss Cherokee just attends various events throughout the Cherokee Nation reservation, as well as some state and national ones, including community meetings, parades, and school functions. And Miss Cherokee simply works to promote all and any aspects of the Cherokee culture, as well as her personal platform and message for her reign. And so it is a great opportunity to develop leadership skills and to also become more involved within the Cherokee culture and the role of sharing the message and encouraging others to learn with her.
Yeah, definitely. I like that last part that you talked about, encouraging others to learn with you, because when you guys take on these really big roles and put yourself out there kind of for public scrutiny, you really give other Cherokees permission to do the same. I think a lot of people are scared to speak up or do some of these things because they don't want to be judged, and things like that. But by you guys doing it and putting yourself out there, like I said, will kind of give, others courage to go ahead and do the same. So thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate that. Leah, how about you? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, pretty much everything that Shelby said. As a junior Miss Cherokee, I'm asked to be a leader and a good role model and to represent the Cherokee Nation as best as possible, to promote our culture, our history, our government, and our language. And as junior Miss Cherokee, I hope to be a good role model for not only the Cherokee youth, but all of Cherokee people. And I hope to show our younger Cherokees and all of Native youth that they're not too young to serve their tribe and they're not too young to get involved. But yeah, not even just the youth, but to all people, to show that they can do more and that they can take leadership amongst their tribe and amongst their people.
That is a really good point to make. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people don't realize that they are leaders. If you have little brothers and sisters or little cousins, I remember the first person I wanted to be like was my big brother and big sister. So, by you promoting that, these young people, they can, have these leadership qualities, develop leadership qualities, and then use them to serve their tribe. I think it's a great point. As a tribe, I feel like we're a little different than counties and states, of course, in that our people really come together and practice Gadugi. You guys have the distinction of serving during a pandemic. And so, that just adds a whole nother level of, responsibility and some adversity. And so for you guys to take this role on, during this really challenging time, like I said, before, our hats off to you. But I really am happy that you guys are talking about these things, because these things aren't talked about a lot also, with our young Cherokees, about responsibility, about being good role models, about making healthy choices for themselves. So I'm glad that you guys are promoting that. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So the next question I have is, Shelby, if you could just talk, I know that you touched on it a little bit, but do you have a platform, and some things that you would like to accomplish during your tenure?
Yes. So my platform for this year is cultural sovereignty, the value of knowing your nation. And I chose this platform simply as a way to encourage all Cherokees to become active and engaged citizens through learning and truly diving deeper into our Cherokee culture.
Mhm.
Our history and our language and our government and the heritage of the Cherokee people are so important to our identity as a tribe and as individual Cherokees. And I just simply wanted to encourage
Mhm.
any and all to become active and engaged citizens by applying themselves into the Cherokee culture. And that looks different for everybody, whether someone learns the Cherokee language or participates in a craft or cooking traditional food. visiting historic sites, learning about the basis of our government as a tribal nation. And so I just simply want to encourage any and all Cherokees to become involved. And through this, I hope that not only can we strengthen our Cherokee culture right now for us living today, but also for generations to come. Our decisions that we do right now in regards to perpetuating our Cherokee culture will be instrumental for the generations to come. And obviously we want to give them a strong Cherokee nation and a strong Cherokee culture. And I think that's also the role of Miss Cherokee, is just to simply encourage people to become involved and become engaged and actively apply themselves to the Cherokee culture. And I would say that that's definitely also my goal during my reign, is to simply share the language as much as I can, and the culture and the history, in a sense that not only could others learn from what I am sharing, but also find inspiration and the drive to go beyond that and also learn on their own. Because I don't, growing up, it's always stressed to me how important that us as individuals doing our part to learn and to carry on the traditions that our elders and our ancestors have passed on to us. We want to do the same for our future generations. And so that was simply the reason I picked my platform, and also an important role of Miss Cherokee. And I'm very, very thankful to be able to be a part of that and to help strengthen our Cherokee nation even more than it is today.
Thank you so much, Shelby. I couldn't have put that any better. That was an amazing explanation of your platform, and I wholeheartedly agree. You know, our culture, unfortunately, due to different circumstances, you know, has kind of gotten down to maybe not that many people who, you know, have this cultural knowledge and are able to pass it on. And so I would like to open up that bottleneck and start getting more Cherokees exposed to Cherokee culture and Cherokee language. And one of the things I find is that a lot of people are hesitant. A lot of people feel bad about themselves because they're like, oh, I should know this already. What kind of Cherokee am I? Like, I can't speak a word of my language, or, you know, some of these things. And not everybody has the opportunity to grow up here in the capital of the Cherokee Nation, where I feel like we have a lot more opportunities. And so for you, you know, hopefully once the restrictions open up a little bit, but definitely virtually, you know, you can travel the country and, you know, promote this among our people, you know, to get them excited and to get them interested in learning their culture. It is really my dream that one day all of our Cherokee youth will be able to speak Cherokee. And I know that's a big dream, but you know, seeing representatives like you, I know that it's going to happen, because, you know, you guys are just really inspiring in the way that you are promoting our culture and our language. So thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate you for sharing. Really appreciate you sharing that. Leah, could you tell us just a little bit about, you know, what your platform is and what you would like to accomplish also?
Yeah, as my platform, I chose the importance of honoring and protecting our elders. Especially in the past year, we realized how often our elders are taken for granted. And especially with COVID, we've lost so many, and a lot of them are speakers, and how scary it is that we're losing them, and how important it is to keeping our language alive, that we learn as much as we can from them. And I hope this year to show people and help them realize how sacred they are and how vital they are to us as a people and to our language. And like you said, they're the ones that are teaching our younger kids. They're the ones that are keeping our language going, and it's our job to learn from them and then to teach the ones younger than us.
Thank you so much. I think, you know, what you're talking about is vitally important, Leah. You know, whenever I was young, my mother would actually drop me off at this older Cherokee man's house. She couldn't speak Cherokee, but he only spoke Cherokee. So I was like 10 years old. She would drop me off over there and I would just learn from him, you know, because he couldn't speak English. And so, you know, I think, you know, by you having this platform, it will promote some of our younger Cherokees to get involved with our elders, to get out there, to learn from them. Because you're right, you know, when we do unfortunately have elders who pass away. A whole library of knowledge, is lost. And some of our life ways, some of our family ways, some of our medicine. And so, it is really up to the youth. Our elders have this knowledge, and we have to get our youth fired up about going and visiting them, going and seeing them, in a safe way, though, of course. That's another part of your platform, protecting our elders and making sure that during this, kind of, time that it is really, kind of hard to get together, finding ways maybe virtually, to connect people. So that's another really important platform, Leah. Thank you so much for taking that on. I think, both of you guys together, are really going to get a lot done and motivate a lot of our young people to participate more in Cherokee culture and to learn about it. Like I said, in today's society, a lot of times, people place other things higher value than learning Cherokee culture. Well, you're supposed to make money. Well, you're supposed to go out and get a big house. Well, you need a new car. And then, we have ads thrown at us daily. You need this makeup. You need to do this. You need to, all of these things. And we're just bombarded with being pulled in all these different directions. And instead, really everything we need to know, we already know in our Cherokee culture. And, that's one thing I've learned. And one thing I take comfort in is the fact that we do have our culture intact. And by you guys promoting that, I think you guys are going to accomplish a lot for our tribe. So thank you so much both for taking that on. That's really important. So when we talk about, advancements, that the Cherokee people are making, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years, Shelby?
In 5 years, I hope to be in law school or possibly close to finishing that and moving into a career. I'm not 100% sure exactly what I want to do. I have interest in criminal and tribal and constitutional law. Whatever I do, I certainly want to find a way to give back to the Cherokee Nation for everything that it's given me in my life. But I certainly will still be busy with school and trying to figure those things out. And I'm excited to see what the future brings, just as you said. But
awesome. Thank you so much. That sounds like you're still going to be doing a lot of work 5 years from now. But, it's really exciting to be young and to have this time. I'm glad that you're taking the time to give yourself options, to feel like that you don't have to decide right away. A lot of people, kind of put pressure on themselves. Oh, I got to figure this out. I got to figure it out right now. But that practicing that Cherokee principle and value of patience, and just trusting your own intuition that, hey, you know what? It's going to come to me. I'm going to make the right decision at the right time. I think that is really awesome because a lot of our young people, unfortunately, I see they have a lot of anxiety. I hear that a lot, and especially during the pandemic. So just, by you practicing that patience, and that self-compassion, I think it'll really help people also. So thank you so much, Shelby. I appreciate that. Leah, how about you? Where do you see yourself coming up in the future, maybe 5 years or 10 years down the road?
In 5 years, hopefully I will be starting my freshman year of college. I don't know. I have not decided. I have absolutely no idea what I want to do yet. But in 10 years, hopefully I'm doing a job that I love. Hopefully, I hope to work for Cherokee Nation somewhere. Hopefully I love the job that I'm in. Hopefully maybe have a kid by then, husband, and the house of my dreams.
That's awesome. Yeah. Whenever they say like, down the road, where do you see yourself? It's kind of hard to picture, a lot, but, I'm glad that you still plan on pursuing your education. That's really big, but it is definitely way okay for you not to know what you want to do right now. And that's one of the really great things about youth is that you have so many possibilities, and not just youth, even people my age. The world is amazing that way, that I have no idea what I could be doing a year from now. I could be doing the most amazing thing, but the fact that you guys are leaving yourself open, to these opportunities, I think is really awesome. So thank you so much, Leah. I really appreciate that. So Shelby, whenever you're not, running around, when you're trying to take a break and relax a little bit, is there a favorite kind of music that you like to kind of, just help you relax at all?
I am definitely the person that just randomly selects playlist from my phone to play music. I listen to whatever is on the radio, but I would have to say that my sister and I really enjoy country music. I think that tends to be what we gravitate to
Mhm,
when we're just needing some happy times.
mhm.
But I definitely would have to probably say that I lean a lot towards country music, but I'm open to pretty much anything. Right now, I'm really enjoying holiday Christmas music. It started November 1st for me. And so I'm excited for all of those playlists to come up on my phone. But yeah, just really anything. I don't want to say I'm super picky, but I definitely just like music in general. I think it's really important to have.
That's awesome. Yeah, growing up in Oklahoma, country music is kind of a staple. You know what I mean? Unless you just really don't like it, everybody seems to kind of, enjoy country music. And, speaking of Christmas music, last year was the first time I actually listened to Christmas music the whole month. For some reason, I needed that comfort. I needed that, it just makes you feel good, puts you in a good mood. And my kids looked at me sideways, but that's okay. They do anyway. But yeah, Christmas music for me also. That's a really good one. Thank you, Shelby, for sharing that. Leah, how about you? Do you have a favorite type of music that you listen to?
Yeah, pretty much what Shelby said. I'm not really picky about what kind of music, mostly Christian or country music, but I'll listen to whatever. I'm not really picky about that.
Wow, that's kind of, you know, crazy because I know a lot of people who are really dead set in their musical choices. And it's like that way, or, or the highway. And so that's really awesome that you're open, to listening to other kind of music. And because you never know, I across all genres, there's, certain songs that I like, except for kind of the heavy metal that always, I don't know, that was a little too much for me. But that's really awesome. Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So, we've been talking a lot today, of course, doing public speaking. You are both really amazing public speakers. I'm really impressed, by your public speaking ability, just because for me growing up, I was deathly afraid of public speaking. It was really hard for me. I would win writing contests and you would have to speak and my legs would quiver. I would feel like I was going to pass out, or even in class, when they go around and your turn's coming up and it's just it gets closer and closer and you're just dreading it, for you guys to have to take on this role of public speaking, do you guys have any rituals or routines or anything that help you kind of get ready, maybe so you're not so nervous?
I am just similar to you. I grew up very shy and not the biggest fan of public speaking. I would say that Junior Miss Cherokee definitely brought me out of my shell
Mhm.
and showed me that there's so many benefits to public speaking. And I've really grown to enjoy it and really just truly love public speaking, as oddly as that sounds. But I don't necessarily have any good luck charms or rituals.
Mhm.
I would just say it comes with practice and learning, and that's the best thing that I could say. I definitely have struggled in public speaking, and I would say it's something that, everybody still kind of gets a little bit nervous
Mhm.
about. But a trick of the trade that I was always told was, if you're nervous about public speaking, is to sit in front of a mirror and watch yourself speak. It
Mhm.
kind of helps you to learn what you're trying to say, but also see how you look when you present. And I think that kind of helps to ease the nerves,
Mhm.
both public speaking in general and also just seeing how you react and how you speak. I think it's a very important self-learning tool. And it's certainly something that I do more often than not in any of my classes that require public speaking, in the role of Miss Cherokee, or even when I was Junior Miss Cherokee. It's definitely the biggest piece of advice I've ever been given.
Mhm.
And I would say that it truly helps. And I wish that more people knew about it, because I definitely think it plays a role in helping to limit the anxiety of public speaking.
That's awesome. And maybe that's a tool that you can continue to promote, as you help some of our young leaders gain these new skills. But yeah, it's, I think you're right. Practice is the best thing. And, for me, I just had to mess up. My voice would get shaky, but, you just keep doing it. And for me, it was kind of owning that, what, I have something valuable to say. Once I really believed that, then I would get up there no matter what. I would get up there if my palms were sweaty, if, I wasn't making sense, I would just continue to get up there because, I feel like a lot of young Cherokees and Cherokee people in general, don't feel like we belong in mainstream society, maybe. So if you're the only Cherokee in your political science class, or you're the only Cherokee where you work, you may feel intimidated sometimes. And I know that Cherokee people, we have a different way of communicating. And so I know when we're back home with all of our friends, we are comfortable and we communicate a certain way, and then when you go out into mainstream society, they want eye contact. They want all of these kind of other things that a lot of Cherokee people maybe aren't used to. And so I think that for our young people, learning how to communicate in any world and feel comfortable, I think is hugely important. Because I see when people go to the doctor, they're too scared to ask the doctor questions. Or if they're going and having to deal with law enforcement or teachers or some of these things. So by you guys going out there and practicing this, I think it will give other Cherokee people more confidence to say, hey, you know what? I have something valuable to say. And even if my voice shakes, I'm going to get out there and say it. So thank you so much, Shelby, for sharing those tips. I think they're going to be really helpful, not just for me, but for other Cherokees as well. So I appreciate that. Leah, how about you? When it comes to public speaking, is that something that you continue to work on? Do you have any kind of tips or tricks that help you?
Yeah, well, I was kind of the opposite. I did not like writing. I still don't like writing. I'm not very good at it. So I kind of had to lean towards public speaking. I would rather someone hand me a speech and me give it than me have to write it. But it's definitely something that I still get nervous over. And really, before any event, I always pray. It kind of calms me down and just gets me in the right headspace to really focus on what I'm doing. And yeah, I don't really have any tricks or lucky charms or anything that I do. I just kind of try not to think about it and just stay calm and breathe, make sure I'm not up there holding my breath while I'm trying to talk.
That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, that was suggested to me when I took this position and I had to do a lot of public speaking. When I get nervous, I'll have everything, my speech already. It sounds really good. And I get up there and forget everything I was going to say. And I always just wing it. And that seems to work the best for me, because I feel like I really speak from the heart and I'm really comfortable that way. But before I get started, I do say a prayer also. And I just say, hey, Creator, just guide my words that they're able to help people. And that's it. And if that's my only goal is to help people, then I'm going to succeed in my speech no matter what. And so that's really awesome. That's a really great piece of advice, Leah, for you to share. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So we are coming up. We are going to be coming up on the hour. And so if you guys have any questions, I see we have a couple in the chat I will get to in a little bit. But if you guys have any questions or comments for Miss Cherokee and Junior Miss Cherokee, feel free to put them in the Q&A and put them in the chat real quick. So our last question that we have for the day, if you could give one message to Gen Z, which are, kind of around ages 15 to 25 right now, what would that be, Shelby? If you had, one message or piece of advice to Gen Z, what would that be?
I would just simply say to take advantage of any and every experience and opportunity that you are presented with. I think Gen Z truly has the world in the palm of their hands at the ages that Gen Z is. And I think especially over the past year, technology has grown, our worlds have changed and evolved. And I simply think that Gen Z has the power to really make an impact and a change within whether it's our Cherokee society or our country or our world as a whole. And I just think that it's important to take any and every opportunity that you can. You never know what's going to come from it. You never know what you can learn from something. And I think that truly is what helps shapes us into the people that we become. And I think there's a bunch of amazing opportunities, especially within the Cherokee Nation for those ages, whether it's Miss Cherokee or Junior Miss Cherokee, the Tribal Youth Council, the choir, the Remember the Removal bike ride, just to name a few. There's tons more for Gen Z to become involved in. And they are amazing learning experiences that help us develop into strong Cherokees that will one day be leaders within our Cherokee communities and our tribe. And I just think you never know what can come from an opportunity. It's a learning experience, it's a growing experience. And within those ages, I think those are very, very important. And if I didn't take some of the opportunities that I have, things probably wouldn't have turned out the same way that they have. And so I'm a living experience of that advice. And I just wish more and more people would also follow that too.
Great. Thank you so much for promoting that, for people to get out there and take those healthy risks. It is scary, but if you just show that little bit of courage to get out there, I think people will find they have a lot more support, than they realize. And so thank you so much for Shelby, not only for talking about that, but for role modeling it as well. Gen Z is really unique, I feel like, because they are kind of changing the world as we speak. Over the course of the past couple of years, we've seen people marching in the streets, doing these different things to, make the world a better place, I feel like. And, our generation, we stood on the shoulders of the previous generation. And I feel like every generation we get closer back to reclaiming our culture, reclaiming our language, shaping our tribe, the way that we see fit, instead of letting other people kind of dictate, what we're going to do. Gen Z seems like you're right. They have a lot of power and a lot of passion, and I think they will get a lot of things done. So, you among them, both of you guys among that generation. So thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate that. Leah, do you have one message or a piece of advice for people who are in your age group who are included in Gen Z?
Yeah, kind of what Shelby said, don't be afraid to push yourself and to get out of your comfort zone and take that public speaking spot or that leadership spot that maybe you're scared of or you're intimidated by. But kind of going back to my platform, don't take the elders in your life for granted. Really try to learn from them, and you never know how much you can learn, and we don't know how much time we have with them. So just really spend as much time as possible and soak up everything that they can possibly teach you.
That's a really important point to make, Leah. Thank you for saying that. And me being older, that is one regret that I have. I wish I would have spent more time in my grandma's kitchen, around the campfire with my uncles, spent more time with my mom and my dad, just talking to them, getting their life experience, learning some of this traditional knowledge. So I think that is hugely important. Thank you so much, Leah, for talking about that. So from Mary Price, she says, you both are bright stars. Wado. So thank you so much, Mary, for sharing that. So we will get into the Q&A just really quick. We have about 10 minutes left. So from Joseph Warren, he says, bravo, Shelby, to a wonderfully stated goal and supportive tradition, history, culture, and language. Do you have a way we could contact you to help us as a satellite community?
Yes, so any and all appearance requests go through the Miss Cherokee Committee, and they have an email that you can find on cherokee.org under Education Services. It is miss-cherokee@cherokee.org, and the Miss Cherokee Committee will be in contact with you, and hopefully I can visit you all virtually for the time being, and that is the best way to get in contact.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shelby, for sharing that. So from the Cherokee Township of San Antonio, They want to know, did you make your own crown or was it provided to you? What material is it made out of? And it is very nicely done. So Shelby, you want to go first and answer?
Yes. Thank you so much for that question. You are certainly right. It is a beautiful piece of art. It was made by Demas Glass and it is provided to the Miss Cherokee committee. And so each Miss Cherokee passes down the crown to the next Miss Cherokee. This one in particular was made by Demas Glass. I'm trying to not get a shadow, so maybe you all can see it better. But it is made of copper, and then the star right here in the center is pink mussel shell.
Nice, that's awesome. That is beautiful. Leah, could you describe your crown a little bit?
Yeah, I'll try to move my camera so you can see it a little bit more.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully it doesn't fall down. But it's kind of the same as Shelby's. It's also made by Demas Glass. It's a little different design. I don't know if you notice, hers sits a little more straight up and mine sits a little more back. It has Junior Miss Cherokee on the top, and it also has the star piece in the middle. It is also made of copper, and I agree, it is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's very fragile feeling. It's all like they always try to tell us to be careful with it. It really is a piece of art that we are very honored to get to wear.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, you guys. I really appreciate that. So we have a comment from Joseph. He says to Leah and Shelby, thank you. Thanks for being a bright beacon for our nation. Your efforts are a great honor to the nation and to our ancestors. Thank you so much, Joseph, for that comment. I really appreciate that. So from Shirley, she says, Shelby, I am happy to hear your future goals. I can see you as our next woman chief. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Shirley. I really appreciate that. And then she says, Leah, I am proud of you being so young and representing our nation and being a role model for other young people. It is a really big deal. So, I hope that you guys, realize how many people you have in your corner. We are all rooting for you. We are all supporting you. And we all really appreciate this tough work. You guys are going to school. You guys are doing all of these responsibilities, doing presentations. I'm sure having to meet, at the tribe, do all of these things and still find time to be, a young adult and to have that time. So, I hope that you are able to find, ways to practice self-care. I'm a big proponent of self-care, just to kind of, help yourselves, stay level, not get overwhelmed, not get that anxiety. I hear a lot of our young people, talk about that, especially during the pandemic. So just in closing, I just want to say a big wado to you both for taking the time, out of your really big schedule to come and be with us and to help share and perpetuate our culture and our language. So do you guys have any closing remarks as we get out of here?
I would also just like to say wado to you, Abraham, for scheduling and moderating this webinar, and wado to all the participants that joined us this afternoon, as well as will watch later. I truly enjoyed being able to speak with you all today, and thank you so much for attending and inviting me to be a part of it. And I hope to see some of you all in the near future within the next year. And just thank you so much. I couldn't say that enough.
Wado, Shelby. Leah, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, just thank you for inviting me. Thank you for hosting this. Thank you for the questions that you asked. I really like those questions. Thank you for all the people that commented and all the questions. And thank you for those of you who are watching it, whether you're watching it as it's happening or you're watching the recording. Thank you for having us. I'm glad to do any event, anything that we get to do. I'm very thankful for it.
Wado to you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who was able to join us today and who is going to watch the video. So, all right, we will let you go. I hope you guys have a great Friday and have a great weekend. So I will see you guys later. Don't go hunting.